Blogging is one of the most powerful pillars of SEO. The problem is that for it to work, you must be consistent, strategic, and publish using the right keywords. That's where the Alya agent comes in. Connected to your site, she takes care of everything: keyword research, writing, and publishing. And above all, while taking up very little of your time. In this video, I'll show you exactly how it works and how to set everything up. Step 1. Define your blog strategy. Every month, your agent will suggest topics and themes to cover on your blog. Here are a few examples, but you can also define your own topics. Once the theme is chosen, so I'll take an example. The agent will search. Google analyze your competitors and conduct in-depth research to identify all blog keywords, only blog keywords, that are being searched for on this topic. These keywords are then sorted by semantic clusters, meaning they're grouped by subtopics. For example, starting from the dog clothing theme, we get differences between dog sweaters and coats, dog clothes, how to measure your dog. Obviously, this will be specific to your site and your site's theme. Let's open an example. You'll find the complete list of keywords here with the search volume when it's available. Just a quick note, Google doesn't always provide this data. When you see no data, it doesn't mean that no one is searching for that keyword. It's simply that Google isn't sharing that information. You also have an indicator of the competition level for each keyword and another indicator. That tells you if you're already ranked or not for this keyword with your current positioning. The goal is simple: create a blog post for every keyword you're not yet ranked for to cover all searches on this topic and thus expand your audience. At this stage, your only role is to sort through them. You remove keywords that don't seem relevant to you using this little trash button. And if you want, you can also complete the list by adding a keyword to an existing group. Or you can even create a sub-theme altogether. Once the sorting is done and the keywords are validated, we move to the next step, creating the articles. Step 2, create your blog posts. Now that your strategy is in place, it's time to move on to the writing. And here you have two ways to do it. The first way is what we call autopilot. This is the mode we recommend. You configure it, and Alya does the rest. Specifically, you choose your publication days. We recommend 3 articles per week. You can define a tone if you have a specific writing style or editorial line. You can define the type of image you want. Do you want your agent to go to your site to pick out relevant images, or generate images directly, or use royalty-free images, or no images at all? You can define an author. Then you have some options. Next, here, you decide on the level of control you want to maintain. So either Alya publishes directly or she sends you an email so you can proofread, refine if needed, and approve the article before publication. Now, once it's configured, you need to give it some material. So you go into your topics and select the ones you want her to work on. So for example, I'm going to select this one. Then you either add an entire topic by clicking on Add All to Autopilot, or just certain keyword groups by clicking only on Add to Autopilot to give all those keywords to your agent. And if you want to vary the articles, you need to create several topics on different subjects. Next, you go to the editorial calendar and you start the publication schedule. Alya then sets up an editorial calendar and schedules all your upcoming articles. Here you can see everything that's planned. You can customize each article, for instance, by changing the days. You can schedule articles and you can give specific instructions for each article. One important point: every time you add, modify, or remove a topic, remember to restart the scheduling so the calendar stays up to date. In practical terms, your role boils down to this: create your topics, sort through them, and hand them over to Alya. It's something that takes you a few minutes, every 2 to 3 weeks. She takes care of the rest: writing, optimization, and publication, depending on the mode you've chosen. Let's look at the instructions you can give. So, for each article, you can define the type of image you want. Do you want your agent to go to your site to pick out relevant images related to the article? Or do you want her to generate images with our AI or use royalty free images or no images at all? You can add knowledge if you have PDFs, product presentations, things like that. Internal linking is done automatically, so automatically. Your agent will go to your site and identify relevant pages to highlight in the article, prioritizing product pages and product categories. But you can ask her to target specific products or pages. She'll create what we call external links, basically selecting sources from reliable sites like Wikipedia or government sites, but it's not mandatory. And you can also provide instructions if you have specific expectations or a particular need, and set a tone if you have editorial guidelines or if you'd like a specific writing style. So that was the first way of doing it. The second way to do it is on demand creation. So, if you need an article right away on a specific topic, you can also go through Create an Article, choose your keyword, and Alya writes it immediately. Here, you'll find all the articles that your agent has written. Let's open one up so I can show you how it works. So, for each article, there's a main keyword to target. And even before starting to write, Alya is going to do some real research work. So she types this keyword into Google, identifies the best positioned competitor sites, and analyzes them one by one to understand what makes their SEO good, what keywords they use, what structure, and what they have in common. From there, she knows exactly what Google expects for that keyword. So the article size, the structure to adopt, the search intent, the keywords to place and at what density, the questions frequently asked by users on Google, but she doesn't stop there. She's also going to analyze your own site to identify relevant pages to highlight in the article, and primarily your product and category pages. She visits each of these pages, understands the content, and creates the internal linking automatically. As a result, you have an authentic and optimized article that's ready to publish. And of course, you stay in control of everything. It's a text editor. You can modify the content, change the images, add text, ask your agent to rework certain passages by giving it instructions or by using our suggestions. And once you're satisfied, with one click on this button, the article is published directly to your site and added to your blog. And the publication usually takes a few minutes, regardless of your CMS.